Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel, and welcome to the final clip before Christmas for the Championship predictions. It's game week 22, so the next time we look forward to games, it will be the Boxing Day fixtures, and that will be exactly halfway through the season. Quite incredible. Where has it all gone already? Halfway through. Anyway, game week 22, Friday the 19th, Saturday the 20th. 11 on the Saturday. The first game that kicks us off is a feisty derby, potentially on paper. We'll have a look at that in a second. Just a quick recap on some of the weekend's highlights or lowlights, depending on who you support, I guess. Coventry and Middlesbrough, not neck and neck, but they maintained the same space between themselves at the top of the table, both winning their matches. And we'll have a quick reflect on that as we go through their fixtures for the coming weekend. And then Preston, Millwall, Ipswich and Hull are the current shirt wearers in the playoff zone. It really isn't, that's all really worth talking about, isn't it, at the moment? Because it's changeable every week or every game round, with all the other playoff wannabes all queuing up behind them. But down at the bottom, we had a significant couple of wins. And none more so than for Portsmouth, who had finally got a home win, or a win of any sort, to be honest. They haven't done too well lately, as we know. But what a win it was. A vital win against Blackburn, which dragged Blackburn right back into trouble. What a chance they had to pull away. And they were 1-0 up as well. And looking at some of the fans' reactions on the Blackburn forums and all of that sort of malarkey, they weren't very happy with I think they took a little bit for granted possibly once they got in front, and they got a bit lackadaisical about life. You can't do that at Fratton Park, however fragile their form is. You have to follow it through down there. It's a tough old place to go, and as soon as they see weakness, the Fratton faithful are on you. And it's apparently John Mousinho said it's the biggest roar he's ever heard to celebrate a goal when the equaliser went in. That's quite something. It's been there nearly 3 years now, I think, or 2.5 or something. So, yes, there we go. So much excitement at Fratton Park for 3 points. Just dragged themselves out of the relegation zone before Christmas. They'll be pleased about that. And the other significant win was for Norwich. All right, hasn't moved them out of the bottom three. But what a great win over Southampton, who were really chalking up win after win and goal after goal. I think I predicted another 3 for them, but not to be. Norwich hung on to a lunchtime game it was. I watched a bit of it. They really did play well. And Southampton, again, not taking it for granted. I wouldn't have said that at all, but they certainly weren't at it, I think is the phrase we use on days like that for them. So there we are, top and bottom. A few moving, a few nervy teams now as we go into this real rat-a-tat period, don't we? 3 or 4 games, almost before you blink, coming up after this round. So, what have we got then to see ourselves into Christmas? We've got on Friday, as I say, I don't think they played each other for a long time. I should have done some research on that. I can't remember when it was, because Wrexham were out of the Football League for a while, weren't they? So Swansea versus Wrexham is a very lively Friday night for everyone breaking up, probably, a lot of people breaking up for the last time for a couple of weeks in celebratory mood. What a way to go down to your local football team and see Swansea take on Wrexham. It's going to be a lively old night down at the Swansea Stadium. I think there'll be goals around, but it could be a stalemate, a total stalemate. But I think it needs an early goal. These big games, these sort of big expectant games need an early goal, don't they, for us? For the likes of us who want to put our feet up, get a bottle of beer out on a Friday night and watch a decent game of football. So we don't want it to be stodgy. So I'm going to hopefully sort of nudge them in the right direction by saying it's going to be a draw. But Swansea City 2, Wrexham 2. And then we have the Saturday lunchtime games, of course, and the first of those is Blackburn against Millwall. So Blackburn smarting from their defeat down at Fratton. It's, as I said just now, dragged them right back into it. Their home form has been flaky as well of late. I looked at a quick look at the ongoing form table, and away from home, Blackburn prior to Saturday were 4th on the away form. So it just shows you how poor their home form has been. And they're facing Millwall, who are just a hodgepodge at the moment. The 1 minute they're turning over teams away from home, getting really good results, clean sheets and the like, and the next minute they're losing 3-1 at home to Hull. No disgrace to lose to Hull because they're flying high in the playoff zone. But what I'm trying to say is, Millwall, you just can't really there's no consistency with them at the moment, but consistent enough to be in fourth place. But that's their early season consistency that's led them to allow a few bumps at the moment and still stay in the hunt. So I think they'll go to Blackburn and get the points on Saturday lunchtime. So I'm going to go Blackburn Rovers 1, Millwall 2. Then we have two sides who won at the weekend, so they'll both be high on the fumes of victory. Preston North End against Norwich City. Now, Norwich, as I say, pulled off a fantastic home win in front of a jubilant Carrow Road crowd on Saturday lunchtime. Preston had a probably more sedate win, but nevertheless vital one down at Oxford. And Preston's, still going along their business quality. They had a bit of a slump, not a slump, but a few bumps in the road where they had 3 draws and a loss at a 5. But they've got over that, and they're still there in the mix for sure. And I think they'll nudge a win over Norwich. I'm going to take Preston North End 2, Norwich City 1. But rejuvenated Norwich need to be watched carefully. We now have what I think is game of the day. One of the games of the day anyway, for sure. Southampton versus Coventry. Let's hope it's another, like I was saying about the Friday night match, let's hope that both teams go there, express their skills. Coventry had a gritty 1-0 win over Bristol City. I did watch a bit of that. I'm disappointed, as I would be being a Bristol City fan, about their lack of a skill set up front. They just haven't got that consistent goal scorer. It's costing them points, and it cost them 1, if not 3, to be fair, on Saturday, because they were matching Coventry stride for stride, but they just couldn't score to finish things off. I think 2 point-blank headers were missed, and posts were hit, and crossbars were thudded. And meanwhile, Coventry got the other end, get their chance, and put it away, as that often happens. It wasn't as one-sided as I'm trying to say, but they certainly didn't deserve to lose on the day, but they did. And Coventry kept their 5-point gap as a result. And Southampton, of course, had that bump at Norwich. And a disappointing performance, probably the first one since Dwyer Eckhart has taken over. So he will want a reaction. Now, it's just to see how they react to him after a loss like that. So I think there'll be goals. And I think Southampton might sneak it, I think this is Middlesbrough's chance to close the gap even more if they can win their game. So I'm going to go Southampton 3, Coventry City 2. Plenty of goals down at St Mary's. Now Middlesbrough in the next match. They go to Ashton Gate. They don't have a very good record down at Ashton Gate. Bristol City 2 tend to have the wood over them, as they say, in this fixture. But I think Bristol City just are disappointing me at the moment. They've slipped down to 11th place, but that doesn't mean too much because one win and you're back up in, knocking on the playoff door. So being 11th or 4th or 5th, it's all very much of a muchness at the moment. But they have gone the wrong direction in recent weeks. They had that win down at Portsmouth, but apart from that, it's all been a bit of a struggle. And mainly because they can't finish, as I said just now. But I think this is going to be a struggle for them as well, unfortunately. So head over heart today instead of the other way around like I normally do. I'm going to go Middlesbrough to take the points. Middlesbrough having a good 3-1 win against QPR on Saturday. Bristol City 1, Middlesbrough 2 will be my outcome for that one. Now, Charlton against Oxford. Oxford disappointed to be back in the bottom 3, of course, but they're not out of touch by any means. We've got Charlton, who are having that horrendous run and all of the other emotional stuff that's gone on in the last couple of weeks with them. Hopefully things are starting to settle down on both scores, really, and they had a decent result on Saturday up at Birmingham. So that was a bit of a surprise for me, but a pleasant surprise for Charlton. And that was a real, because Birmingham's home form, if you remember, it had been flying through, hadn't it? 3 4-goal wins and a 3-goal win. So Charlton did well. And Oxford, as I say, lost a bit meekly home to Preston, but Preston are tough cookies these days. I think this is going to be too much to lose. One of those too much to lose games. So I'm going to go for not much Christmas cheer down at the Valley on Saturday. So we'll see how you get on. But I'm going to go Charlton Athletic 0, and you've guessed it, Oxford United 0. Derby against Portsmouth. Oh, can Portsmouth, my postcode team, can they back up their excellent win on Saturday? Their comeback win. Got everybody rattling around in Fratton Park and up to the streets and singing for goodness knows when in the streets on Saturday night around here. Can Derby back up their excellent win on Monday night, I think it was, away at Sheffield Wednesday, 3-0. So they did what they had to do there. And Derby, as a result, are in 12th place. One of those cluster of teams that could, with a couple of wins, can just hop in the playoffs at any time, really. I think Portsmouth is still struggling a little bit on the... They still struggle to score. They don't have consistent scorers. I would bet a little bottom dollar, as they say, that neither of the 2 goal scorers on Saturday will score for Portsmouth this coming Saturday. Just my little fun with stats. So I think Derby showing a decent bit of form again after a little mini slump. I think they'll take the points. But it'll be close. Derby County 2, Portsmouth 1. On we go on Saturday, 3 o'clock. So they're all 3 o'clocks. No late game. Hull City against West Bromwich Albion. Now, Hull City had that poor result, didn't they, recently? 4-0, and I forget who it was against now. How bad is that? They were 3-0 down at half-time to them, and I still can't remember who it was. How poor. But they lost. And you think, goodness me, how did that happen at home? And then suddenly... was it Sheffield United? I can't remember. But suddenly they pick out a 3-1 win away with Millwall, which is one of the toughest venues to go in this division, I can tell you. So that turned their tables around a little bit. West Bromwich Albion had a good 2-0 win over Sheffield United, and Chris Wiley was not a happy man. 8 minutes of ranting I saw. I didn't watch all 8 minutes, but he was ranting for the first couple of minutes. It was a bit of a non-stop cutting into his players. First time since he's been back, I think, that he's felt necessary to come out in public and do that. Didn't name players, but they were all, I think, in the firing line. So West Brom had a decent win. I think Hull, I'm going to back Hull to back up their win last weekend and take the points by 2-0. Hull City 2, West Brom 0. 4 games to go. Ipswich against Sheffield Wednesday. I think this will be routine for Ipswich. They're looking pretty good. Although they did go down to Leicester. Marty Cifuentes will be happy about that. He's a happier man all of a sudden. Slumped in his chair a couple of weeks ago, I saw, and security around him and all sorts. But he's had a couple of decent results, including beating Ipswich 3-1. Sheffield Wednesday, as I say, went down at home to Derby. So I can't see much other here than Ipswich taking the points quite comfortably. Ipswich Town 3. Sheffield Wednesday 0. Queen's Park Rangers against Leicester. The enigmatic Queen's Park Rangers went going down 3-1 to Middlesbrough. No disgrace there, of course. And now they're up against Leicester, so they have a tough couple of games. Excuse me, on their list. As I say, Marty Cifuentes has brushed away some of those sort of issues that they seemed to have a couple of weeks ago, when the crowd were unhappy. Everybody was unhappy, I think, up at Leicester for a while. But a couple of wins and it all starts to look a bit better, doesn't it? And as I say, Leicester are 8th place, knocking one of those teams knocking on the door. So I think they'll go down to QPR, the enigmatic QPR, as I say. I'll probably do them a favour by predicting them to go down to Leicester. But I'm going to say Queen Park Rangers 1, Leicester City 3. 2 left then. Sheffield United, with their manager's comments ringing in their ears, take on Birmingham City. So it's a good match to get a few cobwebs out of the system if that's what they've got to do. Because Birmingham are a good side this year. They're proving to be a good side now. 13th place, but they just had some recently good results, haven't they? But their away form does need to perk up a little bit if they're going to really make a challenge. So I think here, this is a tough one, because Sheffield United are, aside from last week, have had a decent run, a very good run, really, considering that. Let's just reflect a little bit. They lost their first 6 games, so they've started their season again at game 7. That's 15 games ago, and they've picked up 23 points in that time. So they've had a decent run at it. So last week, for Sheffield United fans, said it was a blip. I think this will be a tough old game, a tough old draw too. Sheffield United 1, Birmingham City 1. And finally, last but not least, but again, I don't think it's going to be a game of Christmas cheer to send us on our way, Watford against Stoke City. Watford having a bit of a rough time at the moment. I think they've only won 1 game recently. What's their current form? Let me have a quick look if I can find them. That they are in 14th. 2 wins in the last 6. A couple of draws. So they've unbeaten in 3, I suppose, if you want to go down that route. Stoke, all a bit up and down at the moment, but did have a decent win over Swansea at home, which kept them, again, knocking on the door. I think everybody's knocking on the door. But I think, as I say, not much Christmas cheer to be found, perhaps at Vicarage Road on Saturday. One of those lesser spotted 0-0 draws, I think, although I predicted 2 unusually today. There we go then. Watford 0, Stoke City 0 to round off the pre-Christmas programme. And that is that. It's been a busy period lately, hasn't it, for the Championship teams? A lot of points to be lost and won, and teams will have enjoyed that period and some won't. However, there we go. Talking of enjoying the period, please go and enjoy your Christmas holiday, whatever you do over this time of the year. It may not be Christmas, may not be for everybody, of course. But please go and enjoy the break that we all deserve, I think. After coming towards the end of 2025, a holiday break ahead. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I know I say it every week, but it is important stuff. It's the cost of a finger muscle to click that button for us, or for the team here. So there we go. It just remains for me for those who go and celebrate, wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, and above all, stay safe and stay healthy. And I will see you ahead of the traditional and Boxing Day fixtures. We love that because just about all the games are on the one day, and there'll be a very, very various kickoffs, but it's all in one day, and we can have a good old football knees up to carry on the holiday. Have fun, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon.